What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video here on Muddy Beard's 4x4. Today we're going to bust out the laptop, the 4-link calculator. I'm going to show you how to use it, and we are going to be doing some adjustments to my rear suspension here, so stick around. Just to warn you guys up front, this will be a fairly tech-heavy video. Lots of details explaining on how to actually find your numbers, punch them into your 4-link calculator in order to make decisions on how you're going to set your suspension up. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description to the 4-link calculator and to several websites that gives a lot of details about anti-squat, anti-roll, all of that stuff, and where I learned how to set up my coilovers and things like that. I'm going to leave all those in the description. There's multiple websites that I used and studied for a long time before I went ahead and set up the suspension here. Now, my Jeep, I set up this rear suspension. It was last March. I wheeled the whole summer with it, and it worked absolutely amazing. But there is always room for improvement. In my case, I've noticed on steep inclines or things that are a little off camber where there's a lot of elevation, it is a little bit tippy. And sometimes I avoid obstacles because I see other people do it who might have a longer wheelbase than me and might be a little bit lower than me. And it looks a little bit sketchy, so I just know that the way my suspension is right now feels a little bit tippy. It feels a little unstable in those situations. So I'd like to do those obstacles, and so I went and punched all my stuff in the 4-link calculator, and I figured out exactly what my problem was, hopefully, and I'm going to fix it right now. But first, I got to show you guys how to find all of your numbers and how to put them into the 4-link calculator in order to make decisions on where you're going to mount things when you're setting it up for the first time, or changing things up like I am in order to hopefully make it a little more stable off-road. If you guys haven't checked out Barnes 4-Wheel Drive new website, they have a really cool thing called My Build Sheet. If you're doing a big project, doing suspension, steering, all kinds of stuff, it's a really good idea to keep track of what you are buying and what you need, and you don't have to save it like in a cart and eventually it'll just disappear. This will save on here, and I put a couple things on here that I want. And of course, if you end up buying something there, make sure you use the coupon code MuddyBeards at checkout. That gets you 10% off everything on their website. Hey guys, I'm in my wife's cushy corner backroom office now, that quarantine teacher life. The first thing you want to do is get your vehicle on level ground. Make sure your tire pressures are exactly the way you run it. So I run my tires at 8 psi. Make sure it's totally flat, everything is squared up and good to go before you start. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up our 4-link calculator. Like I said before, the link is in the description to this calculator. And what I did is I wrote down notes here. I basically made this section right here, I wrote it down on my piece of paper, and if you mouse over these sections here, it'll tell you what exactly the measurement you need to do that. So I'm going to go through each box, show you how I did it, and we're going to enter it in together. So like I said, so much easier. This is my example sheet of what I took under my Jeep as I made all of the measurements. Made things a lot easier. You can just do it all at one time, come back, plug all the numbers in, and then you're good to go. So let's start up here at wheelbase. My wheelbase of my Jeep is 98, and that's going to be from the center of your front axle to the center of your rear axle. That's your wheelbase. Mine is 98. So tire diameter. So this is not necessarily going to be, mine is not 40 inches. So I run 8 psi in my tires, and I put a straight edge on top of the tire, measured from the bottom of that to the top, and that is, it measures out to a 37.5. So the next thing is our tire rolling radius. There is a ton of really difficult math in order to figure this out, but I found the most basic way and that people are doing it is you just cut your tire diameter in half, and that's what I'm going to do. It doesn't really affect it too much. I'm going to get into figuring out how to actually figure out that number. In my case, that's 18.75, half of 37.5. So vehicle center of gravity. So this is going to change vehicle to vehicle. And what I did is I measured from the center of my crankshaft, so the center of my motor, the main line of the motor. There are lots of articles, which the links will be down in the description, of how to measure this in different ways, but I just went with the crankshaft, simple and easiest. Next one, vehicle mass. I know my Jeep is about 4,700 pounds, and we got unsprung and front unsprung mass, rear unsprung mass. I'm not going to mess with these because it doesn't affect the numbers that I'm looking for. So I'm going to take my cheat sheet here that I went and did under my Jeep, and I'm going to plug in all my numbers, starting up here with my upper links frame end. So this front box X right here, forward from rear axle center line. So you want to go from the center of your rear axle tube to the frame side link mount. So in my case, I got 29.5. Oh, not 29.35. So on the axle end, this is the rear axle center line forward to the link mount, and mine is pretty much right on top of the center of the axle, maybe a half an inch forward of the axle. So we got 0.5 there. So our Y, this is half of your upper link horizontal separation at the frame. So on the frame side, the upper links, upper frame separation is 32.5, and you cut that in half. So we got 16.25. And now at the axle side, the half of the axle link separation. So you measure in between the two axle bracket mounts. In my case, it was 8.5 inches at that location. So we're cutting that in half. So that is 4.25. And we're going to our height from ground. So my upper link at the frame is 25.5. And then the upper link at the axle is also 25.5. Now we're going to move on to our lower links. Lower link at the frame end. So our X is forward from center line of axle. So you're going to measure from the center line of the axle to your link mount. And in my case, I have 32.75. And our axle side is 2.5, and we're going on to our axle link horizontal separation, which my lower at the frame is 39.5, so we're cutting that in half, so we are at 19.75. And our axle side separation cut in half. Lower axle separation is 49, cutting that in half, and we got 24.5. We're almost done, and we'll get our final numbers here. And the last one is height from ground. So the frame, lower link, frame end, height from ground. This is what gets hung up on rocks all the time, 21.25. And then the axle end is 15.5. So we now have all of our numbers plugged in, and we have a nice little chart here of what my suspension looks like. So now we are going to move over to our summary, this guy right here. So my anti-squat is 124%. 100% means zero anti-squat. So make sure you check out the links in the description. That's going to go into more details about that. Jake Berkey at Busted Knuckle made a bunch of really great tech videos about anti-squat. All that really complicated stuff that I'm not going to get into in this video. So the very basics of it, 100% anti-squat. When you goose it, it's just the suspension is not going to load up or unload. It's just going to stay level. So in my case, 124%, my suspension is going to unload and my rear end is going to go up a little bit as I accelerate. So I actually want lower anti-squat numbers. Personally, you can do whatever you want, but I would prefer it to be lower, under 100%, not really low, but between 70 and 100. So this is my problem right here. My roll axis angle is 7 degrees. And if you look down here according to this nice little chart here, the roll axis angle is this right here. You can see how it's going up, and my lower link, boom, going up into the chassis. So that's, in my opinion, that's going to be my problem right here. So I need to mess with my numbers to get my roll axis angle as close to 0 as possible while lowering my anti-squat numbers right here closer to 100% or below 100%. So let's start playing around with the numbers. I got to start with this lower link here. I know that is one of my biggest problems, and I need to level it out. So what I need to do is raise up my lower link at the axle. So lower link at the axle, we got 15.5 inches of ground clearance. You need to raise this up right here on the axle side. So let's just, to be honest, I've already played with this a bunch and figured out what I'm gonna try to attempt to get it to, and it's gonna be difficult with packaging and how everything is under there in order to actually get what I come up with here. So I'm gonna raise this up to 18, and you can see how my roll axis angle dropped from 7 to 3, so that's in the right direction, and my anti-squat dropped to 94, which I am actually really happy with that. So with bringing this up right here, my axle link separation is now much lower. I'd like to keep it the same, so I'm going to raise the upper links on the axle as well to try and keep that axle link separation as close to where I had it before as possible. So it's a lot of work to just move that up a little bit, but I think that's going to be worth it as far as the stress on the components, on the heim joints, on the brackets, because the closer together those are, the more stress and more strain is on them, and the more likely you are to break them. So I'd like to keep that axle link separation. So on the axle side, we are going to change that height from ground. We're going to raise it up just 1 inch. So we might, once I get under there, it might go higher, and I have to check to see if I have clearance on the tub at full stuff. I might not be able to move it at all, but I'm hoping to. So I'm going to change it in here, and we'll see what numbers we come up with. So that raised my anti-squat back up to over 100%. So this one right here, my frame side upper link mount, I have 3 holes in it, the Barnes 4-wheel drive kit, so I can adjust this up to 3 inches either up or down at any point, so I'm not going to touch that yet. The only other way to get this lower bar right here more level is to lower this right here, which I don't want to because it's going to give me less ground clearance on my frame. So on the frame side, let's lower that down by 1.25 inches. Let's just go with a straight 20. Boom. So now we are at 0, which I love that. That's perfect. And 73 anti-squat. So now let's go back to the one that I can adjust on the fly. Real easy to do. Let's lower it down 1 hole on the bracket to 24.5, and boom. Okay, we still got our 0 degrees right here, and we are up to 92% anti-squat. I like it a lot. So these are the numbers that I'm going to go with. I'm going to go back out to the garage and get under the Jeep, start cutting stuff up, and see if I can get it to these numbers. Obviously, in a perfect world, I would be able to, but I don't know if it's actually going to happen or not. So let's go find out. let's go ahead and go over what I ended up doing on this. The upper brackets on top of the axle I was not able to touch at all. I did not have any clearance between my tub, the frame section, and the top of the brackets in order to move them up to get my axle link separation. These lower brackets here, I was able to move it up 1.5 inches and re-gusseted it in, made all these little plates, and reinforced everything so it's nice and strong. And then the bracket on the frame itself, I was able to get 1 inch down, and this one I'm not super excited about, mostly because I lose 1 inch of ground clearance in a place where I clearly need ground clearance. So I left it where I can always go back to the original mounting hole, just pop it up that inch, and I can hit it from the backside with a plasma cutter and blast this off in maybe 20 minutes. And it'll be back to original, except I'll have 1/2 inch of plate on both sides where it smashes into rocks, so that's good. Well, I'm all done. I went back underneath my Jeep and remeasured everything, and I got all my numbers again, and here's where I'm at. I'm at 2 degrees, which I'm pretty happy with. It's way better than 7, almost 8. And right here, I'm at 82% anti-squat, which if I want to raise it up, all I got to do is go here to that upper bracket at the frame and change it. I can change it down 1, and I basically 99% anti-squat. Anyways, guys, if you learn anything from this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give me some thumbs up, leave me some comments down below, let me know what you think, and by all means, I am nowhere near an expert at this. I am an amateur. I am barely figuring this out as I go, and there's a lot of other people that know more than me, leaving the links in the description for more detailed information. Anyways, guys, we got shirts, t-shirts, stickers, stuff like that on our website, muddybeards4x4.com, and check us out on social media at muddybeards4x4, and until next time, we'll see you on the trail.
Rage on that beat, going crazy.